I'm really happy to be back. I've been gone for 3 weeks. It's the longest I've ever been out of my pulpit. I missed y'all.
We missed you.
I missed y'all, and then I went diving. Wow, it's going well. So this month we are talking about spiritual mind treatment. Spiritual mind treatment is the particular form of affirmative prayer that I was taught and that I teach. So let me start with a few questions. Who in here has heard of affirmative prayer? Okay. Who in here has heard of spiritual mind treatment? Okay. So let me start out by saying that there's many types of prayer. There are prayers of gratitude. The prayer that most of us are familiar with is supposition, right? So please God, right? And I have prayed that and continue to pray that on occasion. So I'm not devaluing any type of prayer, for any communion is better than no communion, right? So most of the room is familiar with this thing called spiritual mind treatment. So I'm gonna quiz you. So this first question is a true/false. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit, gave us the steps for spiritual mind treatment. True or false?
True.
Okay. There are 7 steps of treatment. True or false?
False. True.
So let's talk about this. First, Ernest Holmes did not give us steps of treatment or steps of prayer. He never said these are the steps. What he did was wrote profusely about practicing the presence and being affirmative with your words and your life. But he never sat down and said, here's the steps.
I knew that was a trick question.
You should expect trickiness from me. Second question. There can be 7 steps. Some organizations teach 7. You can also teach 9. We teach 5.
Yeah. I learn something new every day.
So, in this thing called you, Ernest Holmes says it is not the form of the treatment which you give or the prayer which you make that gives it its power. Rather, it is your faith. Right? So somebody came along after Ernest Holmes and said, okay, so meditation or, kind of getting and recognizing the allness of God, that seems, that's necessary. Then recognizing that I am one with Spirit, that there's no division, that's necessary. And then to make use of this co-creative power, that's necessary. I got to declare what I desire. I've got to have a vision for what I want. And when you get really clear on those things, God is all there is. God and I are one. This is what's true about God and life and true about my life or me or this situation or my health or my finances or whatever. If you know that, if you really know that, then you have a natural out-picturing of gratitude. Once you hit that place, you're done. You release it because you're done. So that's the 5 steps that I've learned. And what Ernest Holmes said is that there's really nothing new in this. What he was doing, you might mute that, Lisa. What he was doing was simply synthesizing and distilling the wisdom of the ages. So the wisdom of East and West and the inward path and the outward path. He was taking all that, bringing it together and saying, this is what I see in it. He said, we have nothing new, we simply have a new approach to an old truth. a more intelligent, more systematic way of consciously arriving at faith. So said another way, prayer is really a tool that helps us, spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer is a tool that helps us focus our conscious mind, so that we're making choices about what we're creating in our lives instead of creating out of old ideas, old wounds, old habits, old patterns. Here's the thing. We're going to talk today and then for 2 more weeks about this. But the thing that occurred to me, and that I kind of noticed I wasn't singing during the community song, it's because my talk was rewriting itself in my head, and then I had to grab the computer and run out of the room. What came to me in that moment is that the way we pray is a reflection of the way we live. Or vice versa. So we sit down and we do affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment, and we maybe we're treating for finance, romance, purpose, employment, the sound equipment. So, do I need to switch, Lisa?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I'm going to mute myself. I'm so electric that I have fouled the system. Somebody remember where I was, because you know I'm not going to remember. What was I talking about?
Living the truth.
Okay, so the way we live and the way we pray. So we sit down and we do this we call it work in consciousness. So work at the level of mind, which is belief, feeling, thoughts, the stuff you can't touch. And we do that work, and let's say we do it via a vision board, or maybe we're doing affirmative prayer, or maybe we're visualizing. You see what I'm saying? We're doing this focused work at a certain point in time. And so let's say let's say it's a new job. I'm going to sit down and do my focused consciousness work for my new job. And it's a job that is a perfect fit with my gifts and talents, and that it pays me enough to share and to spare, and allows me to be a light in the workplace and to experience other alive souls, right? So I'm painting this picture in mind. And then then I'm grateful, and then I release it. And then an hour later, I go into the job I currently have, and I say, these people suck. It's dark here. I don't like it. And we do that. You see what I'm saying? We're painting this beautiful picture, and then we negate the painting. It's like we just take this and we foul this beautiful work in consciousness that we do. You know, I'm a place of love and light in the world. And then I go somewhere and people are grumpy, and instead of being the intentional place of peace, I just fall right into the grump. So I don't actually want to talk about treatment for the next 5 or 6 minutes. I want to talk about the time between our work. Because that's where the rubber meets the road. So you can sit down and you can learn your 5 steps, you can learn your 7 steps, you can learn your 9 steps. You can do vision boards and visualizing. You can have a prayer partner. You can do all of those things. But you can also come to church or go to any church in town on a Sunday and then be a jerk on Monday morning. right? So Ernest Holmes says, between prayers, try to keep your mind poised in such a way that you do not contradict what you have said in your treatment. Keep your mind open at all times to a divine influx of new inspiration, new power, and new life. See, so ideally what we're doing is this really focused intention work, and then we're going out and we're finding the good in the world and praising it. I'll give you a really simple example. Michael and I have a beautiful home in Richardson, and it needs some work. I got tired of painting, and I still haven't put the cabinet facing on the top cabinet after 4 years. See, and some days, all I can see is the things that are undone. All I can see is what's undone. I want a different front door because that one doesn't have any glass and it doesn't allow any light in. We need to finish the back porch overhang thing. The cabinets aren't done. Oh, I missed painting some of the trim down there, whatever it is. And some days I see all that. When I remember, it's like, look at these 60-year-old trees. Look at the fact that we can pay our mortgage. Look at the fact that we have a swing in the backyard for our daughter, even though the grass is dead. You see what I'm saying? And it's one drags me down, and the other one fills me with gratitude. But it's a practice, because I didn't learn to live that way. I don't know about y'all, but my parents came from a generation where everything was broke. And so I learned to see what was broken. And there's actually an evolutionary purpose for that. I mean, our ancestors survived because they could scan for trouble. But we don't need to do that anymore. And the very thing that kept our ancestors alive is killing us. It's about learning how to live affirmatively. Spiritual mind treatment is a tool to focus us, and it's a powerful tool. But we actually have to live our prayers intentionally. Not when we feel good about them. Because, sometimes you just wake up and you're in a good place and it's all easy. It's easy to see the good. It's easy to feel gratitude. It's easy to extend patience and compassion. Some days are just like that. Then there's other days. Those are the days when I have to stop for a second and say, wow, I've got this beautiful partner of 12 or 14 years that is the love of many lifetimes for me. And sometimes she's short-tempered, but who cares? I have a beautiful daughter who is just full of light. And she's a pain in the derriere. But what a gift it is that we've been given to shepherd this amount of light into the world. So the real work is not in learning those steps. It's in cultivating these thoughts. And here's what I know, so here's what I want to leave you with. You don't ever have to learn how to do a spiritual mind treatment. It helps. You do want to learn how to live affirmatively with a sense of faith and belief and trust that good is happening. And I want to leave you with this too, because I wish I understood how this magic works. You can do a lot of philosophy classes, and I have in ministerial school, and really nothing has ever explained to me sufficiently how it is that if I will do the heavy lifting between my ears, that it shifts my whole life. But it does. So the invitation this week is to pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on between your ears. The second invitation is to take just 1 minute when you open your eyes. 1 minute. And not like, what do I got to do first? Take just 1 minute and say, what am I grateful for? Thank you, God, that I woke up today. And it might feel awkward if you haven't practiced it. And it might feel phony if you haven't practiced it. I encourage you to push through that. Push through the imposter feeling. Push through the sense that you don't mean it. Because this is what I know. When you suit up and you show up and you say the words, the change follows. And before you know it, the things you're saying, you'll mean it and you'll see it. Let's pray. There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life right now. And as Alexa said, known by any name, Buddha, Allah, Vishnu. Doesn't matter. One power, one presence, one allness. And that allness is all that I am, but I am not all that it is. That allness, it's infused in every cell and system of my body, every area of my life, and it uses me just as I use it. And we co-create the experience that I'm having in this earth school. As I stand fully in this truth, it is effortless for me to see that every person in this room is whole, perfect, and complete just as they are. And that there is nothing to heal. There's simply the remembrance of this fundamental truth. For who and what we are can never be injured, destroyed, corrupted, or harmed in any way. Not what we truly are. Yeah, we're in this life, we're in this earth school. We have personalities. But that's not who we are. Who and what we are is sons and daughters of life itself. We are the light. We are the peace, we are the power, we are the beauty, we are the joy. I am that I am, and so are you. And so with a breath, knowing that I've spoken these words and that they are true. Rest in this sense of peace that passes understanding and that expects the good to show itself every day in every way. And so it is.